welcome back. This Sunday marks the 10th annual International Day of Charity. It was established with the objective of inspiring and mobilizing people to help others through volunteer and philanthropic activities. So we thought we would profile a few local people who are doing just that. Please welcome to the show. We have J.R. Zubak, who is from the Boys and Girls Clubs of West San Gabriel Valley and Eastside. Good morning to you, J.R. Ashley Sanchez, who is with AltaMed Foundation. Good morning. And Shelly Haas, who is the president and CEO of Orange County Community Foundation. What a delight to have all of you with us. And maybe let's just talk to each of you about the works that you're doing. Let's start with you, Ashley. AltaMed focuses on health care for folks that are really struggling to make ends meet in that realm.
Yes, Michaela, and good morning to everyone. AltaMed Health Services, if you're not familiar, is one of the nation's largest health centers, and we serve more than 300,000 people in clinic locations throughout Los Angeles and Orange counties, regardless of their ability to pay. We provide primary care, dentistry, pediatrics, and senior health care programs, and so much more.
We know how much healthcare costs can really just put a family behind, and we don't want to, further fuel that, pushing them towards homelessness, and that's one of the costs that can really break a family's budget. All right, let's move to Shelly. We're very familiar with Orange County Community Foundation. We've had folks from your organization on with us before. Why don't you give people the elevator pitch about the work you do?
Well, I think the best way to describe it is the Community Foundation is a philanthropic matchmaker. We work with folks who have a passion to make a difference and want help in identifying the best charities that meet their goals, their objectives, their dreams, the impact they want to make. So we're the person who connects donors to organizations like my companions here on the panel, whether their interests are here locally in Orange County, across the nation, or around the world.
I love that. What a great idea, the Umbrella Foundation. Now, if only I knew about the Boys and Girls Club. JR, actually, for those that don't know, I sit on the board of the Long Beach Boys and Girls Club, and we have some of the kids on now and then as part of our panel. But for those that maybe live under a rock and don't know about the terrific work the Boys and Girls Clubs do across the area and across the states, tell us, give us your 5-second definition of your work.
Well, we are one of the largest after-school providers here in LA County. We have 150,000 kids that we're serving here in LA County, with over 20 clubhouses in the communities that need us most, as well as in public housing. And we do whatever it takes. We are that after-school provider that is providing all the wraparound services coming out of this pandemic.
For all of you, the needs have been great, right? We live in an area where there are a vast amount of people with various disparities of income levels and realities, financial realities. But I can imagine 2020 caused all of y'all to work even harder to serve your communities. Ashley, and particularly when it comes to healthcare, talk to me about some of the challenges you faced last year and since the pandemic began.
Yes, well, as my colleagues here know, philanthropy in 2020 was really, really difficult.
Grim.
But for us at AltaMed, we still have always and still believe that everyone should have access to healthcare when and where they need it. So healthcare has always been an important aspect of everyone's life, but the COVID-19 pandemic really put it at the forefront. So AltaMed was among the first in LA County to open drive-through COVID-19 testing sites to anyone who needed it, especially our essential workers who couldn't work from home. Yeah. And in addition to that, every week we put together around 500 grocery kits to deliver to our most vulnerable patients, which were our senior population. And now we continue to provide COVID-19 vaccines in the underserved communities that have been disproportionately impacted by the virus. At AltaMed, we know that there are many factors that determine health and wellness, and that's why our foundation funds these programs to help break the cycle of poverty, as you mentioned earlier, Michaela.
I love that. And then, of course, for the Boys and Girls Club, when you talk about those essential workers, a lot of their kids are in the programs of Boys and Girls Club, and you have been so important during the pandemic. Kids having to do distance learning, disconnected from classmates, disconnected from the clubs. Y'all had to double down your efforts to keep them engaged and feeling a part of something.
Yeah, I would say it was the most challenging effort that we've ever done, in the sense of just responding to the high level of the social emotional health of our young kids, the food insecurity, the call out for help when it comes to responding to their needs, and the challenge that we've never really thought that we would be tackling is this whole social emotional learning, social emotional learning as it relates to just a trauma informed approach as the kids return. That is where we feel like we are making a big difference in being able to respond to the high level of anxiety and stress and depression that these young people are suffering from.
Response is kind of the magic word that leads us to you, Shelley, because that's where a foundation like yours can sort of help in that respect. But I can imagine it felt like you were spinning plates at the foundation during the pandemic. How do we help all these people? There's a drip here, there's a leak here. Where do we start?
Right. One of the very first calls I got was from a colleague who said about the first week that the pandemic was really hitting here locally. And the call I got was, well, what are you guys planning to do about this? So I love that we're thought of as a go-to resource. And we did, within a week, we stood up a community resilience fund in partnership with many local foundations and donors and began mobilizing within 6 weeks, $4 million in funding for the Orange County community that went to the needs that my colleagues have been referencing. Frontline health care, helping people access clinic resources, food, emergency rent assistance so people didn't lose their housing, and that assistance went on throughout the year. And that's one of the roles that we play for donors who have funds with OCCF and who can mobilize those resources they've contributed for a moment, just such as this, or folks that join together in the moment of this kind of tremendous need, and the fact that we are at the intersection of people who want to make a difference and the needs of our community is just exactly where we want to be. Not easy days.
Not easy days.
It was
not easy days for any of you, but I know you're in it for the right reasons, to be of service to others. We decided we wanted to introduce all of you to just 3 organizations. Look, we know there are thousands in our area, but we wanted to give you just a little overview of 3 that could use your help and support: AltaMed Foundation, Orange County Community Foundation, and of course the Boys and Girls Clubs all over the area. JR, Ashley, Shelley, bless all of you for the work you're doing and the organizations you represent. Keep on doing it. We need you now more than ever.
Yeah.
Thanks, Michaela. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Michaela.
Michaela.
And if you want to support, make sure you do. Hopefully you got a screenshot of some of their web addresses. We'll be right